All right, let's talk about 2 days practice from Tuesday, August 16th, and look at some highlights, including this amazing grab from MVS, Ronald Jones taking reps with the 4th team. Then hear from Rashad, Fenton, Coach Spags, Skyy Moore, Danny Shelton, and much freaking more. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, aka the fantastic Fountain City fire-bearded football wizard, or sometimes known simply as Lord Vader of Beards, and I do daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs, so make sure to sub if you're new for the most thorough content on the platform. Hit that like button if you think Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes should be number 1 on this stupid little list and not ranked 5th. And let's get into this video starting with a plug of the merch. Red Beard's own. That's right, we got multiple designs on there, including my slogan, let's freaking go. This Red Beard shirt that I'm wearing right now, a logo tee, coffee tumbler, tank tops for women, and a sweatshirt that my wife made unprompted, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, that's one way you can definitely support the channel if you would like to, and if you don't want to buy any merch, that's fine. I will not hate you. Now, let's get into some roster transactions that the Chiefs made today to get the roster down to 85 players. They ended up waiving defensive lineman Austin Edwards and wide receiver Devin Gray today to get that roster down to 85 total. And I chuckle at Devin Gray because he was here on the team for like 5 seconds. Well, 10 days to be exact, but same thing. That was interesting. So goodbye, Devin Gray. There's only room on this team for one Gray, and that is Noah, I guess. And as far as injuries are concerned, offensive tackle Lucas Niang is of course still on the PUP list due to that knee injury. Tight end Blake Bell didn't practice today due to the hip flexor he sustained in last Saturday's game against the Bears. And then JuJu Smith-Schuster did not practice today either, as he was dealing with a sore knee. How sore, Cole? Well, sore enough to completely keep him out of practice today, so not ideal, though I pray to the heavens that it's something very minor, because we need this man, my projected to be wide receiver 1, and I would expect the Chiefs to be extra cautious about this, and I really doubt we will see JuJu this Saturday against the Washington Red Beards. But because of JuJu's injury, it looks like Skyy Moore and Justin Watson were getting more reps with the first team during practice, and Matt McMullen, the Chiefs senior reporter, noted that wide receiver Justin Watson had another strong day today, saying, quote, "The veteran receiver broke open deep down the field and hauled in a TD grab early in team drills before catching a pass up the seam for another large gain during a 7-on-7 session. There are potentially 2 roster spots up for grabs in the wide receiver room over the next few weeks, and Watson is certainly putting his best foot forward in an effort to seize one of them." Well, all right, Matt McMullen, you are paid by the team and cannot be as honest as I am, so I'll say it for you. Justin Watson is making this freaking roster, so book it. And Watson is a pretty fast guy. Mahomes himself has complimented his speed multiple times, even calling Veach to ask how fast this guy was during OTAs, as Watson ran a 4.4240 back in 2018, which is pretty quick, and he could be faster now, honestly, since then, as Mahomes is definitely faster than his 40 time back in the day, but that time still makes him one of the slowest receivers on the starting roster, which is kind of wild to think about. He is faster than JuJu, who ran a 4.5440, but slower than Skyy Moore by a big old 0.01 second, as Skyy ran a 4.4140 at this year's combine, then MVS ran a 4.37, and McCole ran a 4.33. So what does this mean, Cole? Well, nothing really. 40 times don't always translate when the pads are on, and speed doesn't always help you with route running abilities. I just noticed how fast Watson looked off the line as he beat Rashad Fenton down the field, and it got me wondering how fast the rest of the guys were. That's all. So there you go. Moving on, but staying on the receiver train, choo-choo, because Skyy Moore spoke to the media today saying he was grateful to get a preseason game under his belt and is already looking at things to improve on, both on offense and on special teams, returning punts, specifically saying he needs to be more aggressive on his return game. And he was then asked about that very nice toe drag sideline catch he made during the game, possibly the best catch of the game. And his response was,
I just always do that. Like, I just always try to get 2 feet in since I was like a freshman in college. So it was like, it didn't really seem that big of a deal when I did it.
And he said the reason why he would always aim to get 2 feet down in college is because he knew he'd be in the NFL one day and wanted to prepare himself for the big leagues, basically. So I do admire the confidence, Skyy Moore, and it certainly seems like that preparation is already paying off. Oh yeah, Skyy has been studying and doing all he can to learn the offensive playbook, but it's definitely a work in progress.
Kind of like once you think you got the hang of it, boom, another plate for you comes. But that's how I like it though, because it keeps me on my toes, and I'm never like too comfortable. I've ran a lot of routes in college, but it was more like intermediate stop, like RPO type of routes. These routes are like deeper routes and, just more pro style routes and stuff that I can do, just different. It's just a different bag.
He's definitely enjoyed getting to glean from vets like Kelce on the team, and says playing with Mahomes always keeps him on his tiptoes, as he just never knows where the ball is going.
He got a couple no-look passes. Just like little crafty stuff that he does. Like, even like today, like I'm running down the field, and he's looking at me the whole way. He got no intentions of throwing me the ball, but he's making sure the defender is staying with me. Just little stuff like that he does that just makes me like, oh, snap. Like, that's why he's here.
That's right. And do you know who Patrick Mahomes reminds me of? Patrick Mahomes, because there's nobody like this man. Let's look at this nice pass, for example, from Mahomes to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who made what was described as, quote, the catch of the day on this one when Mahomes scrambled from the pocket and threw a little bit of a wobbler, if we're going to be honest, to MVS with both Snead and Thornhill in coverage, and MVS used his height to reach up and snag it out of the sky for a touchdown, or at least very close to a TD. Now, if this was a real game, for the record, Mahomes would have been sacked by Frank Clark, who let off the gas near the end as he was chasing Mahomes down, but hey, MVS came down with the ball for a 35-plus yard touchdown, so let's freaking go. But MVS wasn't done here, because he also caught this pass from Mahomes in a very similar spot on the field as before, but this time with Snead and Justin Reed nearby in coverage. And a couple other receivers I have notes on are DeRuse Fenton, who caught a TD off a deep crosser from Henne, who would have also been sacked on the play as well. It's practice after all, so they can't do it. And then Josh Gordon with another one could be seen here running a quick slant route inside, beating Joshua Williams off the line for a nice and easy catch and run. Nice play by Gordon. And here's a few tight end plays, the first featuring Jody Fortson, who could be seen back in action in teams today, catching this little pass from Mahomes. But the interesting thing to note about this play in particular is that this is a 3 tight end look. They had Noah Gray, Travis Kelce, and Jody Fortson out there on this one. More of that, please, and thank you. And then tight end Matt Bushman, speaking of tight ends, could be seen here on this play driving Malik Herring into the ground almost 3 feet deep. So nice work by Bushman here. And then Kelce had an unfortunate dropped pass that tipped up and was intercepted by Justin Reed, making that Reed's second INT of the day. An unfortunate drop by Kelce, but it freaking happens. I will note, though, that on this play, the first team offense was Skyy, MVS, Kelce, McColl, and Isaiah Pacheco. Hello. Pacheco had a nice catch in the backfield from Henne today as well. Yeah, he played both with the 1s and the 2s and had a terrific stiff arm on Joshua Williams. And on another play, Nick Jacobs noted that Pacheco caught a Henne pass in the flats, taking a good hit on the play by Jalen Watson, but bounces off and finishes for another 10 yards. Okay, well, I can get used to that. It's a little reminiscent of the game we saw on Saturday where he bounced and went for 5 yards, and I think you all could get used to that as well. In other running back news, PJ Green said Derek Gore drops continue in practice today. It is a wet one outside. Well, I don't want any more drops from Gore after seeing him last Saturday. No, thank you. And also, since we're talking running backs, if we go back to that play where I showed Matt Bushman driving Herring into the ground, you'll notice that Ronald Jones took a handoff from Dustin Crum, which means RoJo was taking reps to some extent, at least with the 4th team today. 1, 2, 3, 4th team. I need one of you Ronald Jones defenders to explain to me, how on earth is this a good sign for RoJo? Someone? Anyone? I didn't think so. I've been saying I hope this man gets some reps in with the 1s during this Saturday's preseason game, but if he doesn't get any reps in with them during practice, I'm not so sure he's going to get any reps with them during the game. The RoJo situation continues to baffle both me and my beard. Anyway, the final clip I have here on the offense is this very nice 1v1 rep between Trey Smith and Chris Jones, where Trey holds it down and gets the dub, which is a great accomplishment going up against Chris Jones. So nice work, Trey Smith. All right, from here, let's switch gears near on to the defensive side of the ball, starting with Spagnolia's presser. Only the real OGs are going to get the Spagnuolo reference. And this is what Spags had to say. He's glad to have Rashad Fenton back, saying that when he had off-season shoulder surgery, he was not sure if they'd get Fenton back in time for the start of the season, but he's back and feistier than ever, so let's go. He was pleased with Karlaftis' performance Saturday, saying he made a couple rookie mistakes like they all do, but he was pleased overall with his performance. Steve Spags, that guy, seemed excited to have Danny Shelton on the team, but Shelton is still getting ramped up on defense, so I'm not personally 100% sure if we'll see Danny Shelton play in Saturday's game or not. We'll find out soon. Shelton did speak to the media today, but the Chiefs didn't post his presser on their YouTube channel since he said a couple of naughty words, so I don't have much from it other than Shelton's two final teams that he was deciding between were the Jags and the Chiefs, and he chose winners over warm weather. So respect for that. He also complimented Spags as well, saying he's got the juice.
I think the juice, really. So Spags, he has this kind of energy, you don't want to, get on his bad side. And so, and he's smooth with it, so it's like you respect that, and you want to do your best out there. And so you bring in the juice, you get in your playbook, and you do your best to produce.
And finally, back to Spags. He also thought both rookie corners Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams played well on Saturday, all things considered, but it's definitely a situation still in progress, as he wants to see more game reps under their belt as he keeps monitoring the cornerback room to see how it all plays out.
To me, it still comes back, though, to how you respond in a game. Now, they got some more games to go here. And more than anything, how they respond when it doesn't go well. That's really what I have my eye on. Yesterday, we had some snaps there where it didn't go well for some guys, and I'm looking to see how they, especially at that position, right? I mean, you can't put your head in the sand, or else they're coming right back at you.
And I will say this, Spags must be somewhat happy with these new guys because they let Lonnie Johnson Jr. go. So that tells you pretty much all you need to know about the young guys in the cornerback room so far. And then, sticking to corners for a moment, continuing the train here, Matt McMullen noted that, quote, cornerback Joshua Williams was a defensive player who stood out during Tuesday's practice, who was in position to stop an outside running play early in practice before later recording a pass breakup down the sideline during team drills. So, good job, Joshua Williams. I'm proud of you, man. Another corner, Nazeeh Johnson, could be seen here in coverage on Jerry and Ely, breaking up this pass, but I think I'd credit that more to a bad throw. But nonetheless, there you go, some Nazeeh Johnson coverage. Not sure if he's making the roster, if we're going to be honest, but we shall see. Another cornerback who is making the roster as cornerback 3 until further notice, Rashad Fenton spoke to the media today, getting asked several questions about his shoulder procedure that happened during the offseason, and he was a man of very few words in his answers about his shoulder, and also pretty much the entire presser. Fenton basically said the surgery needed to happen based on an end-of-the-season physical, but he's back to 100% and good to go. He's here to compete, be physical, and even though it's a contract year for him, he said he's just taking things day by day and game by game. And when asked about the little ordeal between him, Mahomes, and Kelsey yesterday during practice, Fenton simply responded saying, "It's just great competition." And then Fenton gave some high praise to rookie wide receiver Skyy Moore, who is someone he's watched a lot of while he was out on the sideline still recovering from that shoulder injury.
Absolutely. I've been on the sideline much, so I just get to see how he work some of the guys, you know what I mean? Fast, explosive, good hands, compete. So you can ask for a young guy.
And then more highlights. Here's Leo Chanel doing Leo Chanel type things, like stopping the run. You can see a couple of clips of him here doing just that twice. To Isaiah Pacheco, and then Willie Gay Jr. follows suit, splitting the gap nicely here and blowing right by Trey Smith like a breathalyzer, which would have resulted in a multiple yard loss on the play. And then here's some D-line notes. Frank Clark has continued to look explosive. Multiple people have commented on this. It's not just me. And I saw it firsthand in Saturday's game. Then again in this would-be sack on Mahomes and also in this 1v1 rep against Orlando. Even though Clark didn't win the rep, all good signs for Clark thus far, in my bearded opinion. And then in this clip here, Frank's understudy George Karlaftis nearly picks Henne off from the line. And this is something I've said before that we need to continue to look for from the D-line this year, as both Carlos Dunlap and Chris Jones are very good at this exact thing. And that is something Coach Spags hopes to see from Dunlap in particular.
He's an intelligent football player, and we're going to keep him in a rotation, just like we said. We believe in that with our big guys. Love his length. I mean, you can't coach that. So hopefully we get some batted balls.
So what did you guys think about today's practice? Did you enjoy MVS's legitimate snag from the air and resulting touchdown? Are you excited to see more with 2 O's and an E? at the end of it from Skyy and Watson this Saturday. Justin Watson, if JuJu doesn't play, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let's quarrel about it down there like the sharp-minded geniuses we all think we are. Make sure to leave a bearded comment or a super thanks to potentially be featured in the next vid. Sub to the channel, like this vid, you know the deal, and then check out this video here, which is a short video featuring all of Justin Watson's highlights from last Saturday's game against the Bears. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?